If you were a civilian in Star Rail's universe, you might have seen this person rummaging through garbage and trash cans, sometimes even talking to them. Like any normal person, you'd probably think this individual was some weirdo or trash can enthusiast. The universe is a pretty big place after all. What you might not have known is that this person is one of the most powerful individuals in the entire Star Rail universe. Someone who could bend and perhaps even break fate itself, something even the gods can't do. Unbeknownst to you, in reality, you have just crossed paths with the Trailblazer themselves, the main character of Honkai Star Rail. But who is this person and what makes them one of the most powerful people in the whole story, outside of being the main character? This is what we'll be discussing in this video. All the known powers and abilities of the Trailblazer and their supposed origins. Before we dive deeper into this topic, if you want to see more Honkai Star Rail content, do consider subscribing to the channel. Generally speaking, this video will mostly be a simple explanation on the Trailblazer's abilities. Star Rail lore veterans will likely already know these things, while those of you who are unfamiliar with Star Rail might be a bit lost with some of the terms. To avoid this, whenever I mention something weird like paths or eons, I'll put some text on screen to generally explain what those things are. Also, just a general warning, there might be some spoilers here since we are talking about the main character's powers. So what sort of powers does the Trailblazer actually have? Well, essentially, the Trailblazer uses different weapons and abilities imbued or sourced from the energies of different paths. As each path represents something different, this gives the Trailblazer different forms that do different things. Within the Star Rail universe, this is a rather unique trait because the Trailblazer is one of the only few humans we have seen, if not the only one, that can resonate with multiple paths simultaneously. We don't currently know why they are able to do this, and some within the story have found this rather peculiar, but they are able to do it nonetheless. This allows them to draw power from these different paths to functionally gain different abilities or forms. My guess as to how this actually works, and it is a guess, is that the Trailblazer would resonate with a path and then apply the properties of said path to themselves or their weapons, empowering them. For example, if the Trailblazer resonates with the path of destruction, their abilities or weaponry will likely become more destructive in nature to reflect the properties of said path. Now, to be clear, we don't have anything that proves this is how it actually works, but to bridge the gap between gameplay and lore, this is the best guess that we have. That said, if we assume this is how their powers actually work, then the Trailblazer has a total of 3 different forms, one for each path they have resonated with. One of the more common images you might have seen of the Trailblazer is of them holding what looks like a baseball bat. This is essentially their first form. By resonating with the path of destruction, they are able to imbue this ordinary bat with the energies of destruction, allowing them to destroy or even disintegrate anything it bonks. Each time we have seen the Trailblazer go on the offense, they are almost always using this weapon, likely due to its raw power. Opposite to that, and the second ability or power they have, is the pointy stick of defense, or the lance of preservation. As you might have guessed, this weapon was granted to the Trailblazer when they resonated with the path of preservation. The weapon itself appears as a crystallized lance, and as pointy and as dangerous as it might look, while wielding this weapon and path, the Trailblazer gains more defensive abilities. Now, I'm not entirely sure about this, but in the cutscene when they receive this thing, it comes right after them being impaled by an enemy. So either this lance has the ability to bring the Trailblazer back, or something else did, but we'll get to that shortly. Either way, the Lance of Preservation grants the Trailblazer defensive abilities that allow them to shield teammates and protect them, which is on brand for the Path of Preservation. Essentially, this is the Trailblazer's tanking option. Finally, and the most recent acquisition of power is through the hat that the Trailblazer took off of a deceased comrade. Yes, I know how that sounds, but that did actually happen. I mean, he was bequeathed the hat by its previous owner, but still. Anyways, this ability comes from their resonance with the Path of Harmony and its Aeon Shipe. While the last 2 abilities were outright weapons, this particular ability is manifested through a dance. The Trailblazer dances up a storm, shakes their booty, and seemingly inspires others to hit enemies harder. Look, the way the Harmony Trailblazer works in-game is that they boost super break damage, which is this damage mechanic that's available in-game. So a realistic or practical way of applying this is that the Trailblazer is able to enhance and buff their team, allowing them to hit that much harder. If you've ever seen Tensura or that Isekai Slime anime, it's kinda like Masayuki's ability where everyone around him gets inspired and gains a buff that allows them to constantly critically hit. So I kinda think that that is what is happening here as well. Anybody who witnesses their booty shaking dance for whatever reason can and wants to hit their enemies with significantly more force. Realistically though, it's likely that the Trailblazer channels the harmony energy into their team through their dance and hat, much like how they empowered their weapons with the previous two paths. Aside from the powers afforded to them through these paths, the Trailblazer also has quite a few rather weird abilities, one of which seems to be the ability to change fate itself. There have been many instances within the story where the Trailblazer is able to forcibly reverse a negative outcome, or even change a predefined event, pretty much changing reality itself. Coming back to life after being impaled is one such example of this, and even when Kafka knew the outcome of a future event because of Elio's future sight, the Trailblazer was able to alter it. Currently, we don't know why they are able to do this or how they activate it, but I've long speculated that this is their actual true ability, and the resonance with the paths is just a side effect of this. One possibility as to the source of this power is the thing that is embedded within them, the stellaron. We know that the stellarons are able to grant wishes, so maybe much like the paths, the Trailblazer is able to extract the reality warping powers of the stellaron and apply this ability to themselves or their surroundings, kind of like a reality warping aura. The stellaron has also been seen to protect the Trailblazer as well as grant them a myriad of even stranger abilities, such as the ability to comprehend and understand monsters of the Fragmentum and even see glimpses into the future. While it's not yet outright stated, it's very likely that these abilities stem from the stellaron itself, as it does seem to be similar to the stellaron's own abilities. That said, some of those abilities could also be attributed to their rather weird body, since we do know that the Trailblazer was artificially created. Because they are technically artificial, this also means that there is a very real possibility that the Trailblazer has other abilities we are just not aware of. Their body might be unique in other ways that has not yet been revealed. Maybe they have enhanced strength, or perhaps there is a cup holder hidden away somewhere. So overall, the Trailblazer has three sources of power at the moment: the paths they resonate with, the artificial body they have, and the stellaron that is embedded within them. Perhaps at some point, all three of these things will converge into something else entirely, but we don't know for sure, and this isn't a theory video. Of course, since we are barely halfway into the story, they will continue to accrue more power. There are several more paths to resonate with, the secrets of their body to unlock, and that weird stellaron. So only time will tell the full extent of the Trailblazer's abilities. In any case, that wraps up this video. I'll be making more about the abilities of other characters in the future like March or Fei Xiao, so be sure to keep an eye out for that. If you found this video entertaining, do consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Thanks so much for watching, and as usual, have a nice day.